Russian scientists in Antarctica battle Organism 46b, an Antarctic creature called the Lake Vostok octopus. Organism 46b hunts by first paralyzing its prey with venom. The strange creature seizes and dismembers prey using a powerful beak, breaking the food source into pieces. The ancients believed in monsters of the deep, serpents hiding under the waves, threatening to capsize the heavy crawling ships of men. Today there is no ocean or lake that has not been probed and found wanting for sea monsters. Except for the freshwater lakes buried beneath the ice of Antarctica. There is a hidden continent under the ice cap of Antarctica. Ground-penetrating radar established the existence of hundreds of lakes on this continent. Because of pressure exerted by the ice, these lakes are not frozen. They are liquid, containing fresh water that has been isolated for at least 15 million years. The largest of these is Lake Vostok, covered by a glacier 2 miles thick. On top of the ice sits the Russian Vostok Research Station. It took 10 years for the Soviets to drill a vertical tunnel in the ice in which a special elevator was built, designed to hold a single man. In 2012 the elliptical drill bit finally reached, down the eastern shore of the lake. A team of 8 men was lowered to the original surface of the continent, 1 man at a time. What followed was a closely guarded state secret, until a Russian scientist defected to the West. Dr. Anton Padalka was a member of the Soviet research team. He became a defector after learning his government had military plans for a discovery made in Antarctica. Granted sanctuary in Switzerland, Dr. Padalka disclosed the existence of a life form native to Lake Vostok, a strange and lethal creature designated as Organism 46b. During a scuba dive for which they required low-temperature wetsuits, the creature was encountered on day 1 of the expedition. Organism 46b is a species of giant octopus, but with 14 arms rather than 8. It shares traits of its nearest known relative, Vitrilodonella ricardi, the glass octopus. But 46b can do one thing that its smaller cousin cannot. It can paralyze from a distance of 150 feet because its venom is contained in the sac that is normally used for expelling ink. Expedition member Alexis Vindogradov, the radio operator, was dispatched in this way, and the radio was lost. Like the mimic octopus of the Indo-Pacific, 46b has remarkable powers of camouflage. The mimic physically changes its form to resemble one of 15 other aquatic species, such as a lionfish, or a sea snake, or a jellyfish. Again, Organism 46b takes this ability one step further. Dr. Padalka witnessed the creature in the shape of a human diver. They thought it was a member of the team swimming toward them. The scientist nearest to the creature, a marine biologist, became the second researcher to lose his life when the organism resumed its shape and ripped him to pieces. At this point the expedition chief, A.M. Yelagin, decided to use a specimen tank to capture the organism. The only female member of the team, Dr. Marta Kolishnik, was used to lure 46b, not because she was attractive, but because as a former professional athlete, she was judged best able to defend herself. The trap was a success, but one of the sea creature's arms threatened her. Kolishnik was forced to use her axe to defend herself. According to Dr. Padalka, when the man-eater was brought to the surface it was confiscated immediately by Soviet security. The international press was told nothing was found. The entrance to the hole was plugged. Russian President Vladimir Putin now intends to weaponize the venom of the prehistoric beast. And maybe the beast itself. We were able to contact a source and he had a story to tell. The Antarctica, the ocean around Antarctica was my home for me. The briny deep was what interested me most, and it was always my dream to explore all of it. Yes, of course, as a diver you hear stories of vicious, immense creatures no one could prove. Like prehistoric monster sharks, or gargantuan squid with tentacles as large as city buildings. Yes, that did discourage me a bit. That and the cold. It was eerie, however, the fact that each time I turned, land was in the vast distance. Miles of water fading to an inky blackness was beneath my feet, and I was alone with just my older brother. I had just come up from a dive. I swam through swarms of Antarctic toothfish, which swam neither at the bottom nor at the surface. In my travels, I met a humpback whale and her young calf, and I met a shark deterred by my suit and oxygen tank. Yet, there was something rather odd happening. My stomach sank as I recorded my odyssey in my journal, when the boat began to rock. Odd, the water was as still as glass just a minute ago. It would pass, I convinced myself, with a sudden rush of terror. I began to grow rather suspicious when the waves got larger and the rocking became more intense. I stood and put my journal on the seat. I paced slowly to the starboard side and peeked over the side to see nothing but a deep blue. My heart slowed. I sat back down as the water calmed, only for it to rise back up with an intensity that brought water into the boat. My ears picked up the small breeze flowing through the air. My head snapped to find nothing there but a fly, or a fuzz in my vision. "Jim?" I asked as I stumbled toward my brother's quarters, my voice shaking with anticipation. No reply. I called his name again, a bit louder, and got no response in return. My skin grew warm and I turned the knob slowly, opening the door to the normal quarters with a still helm, and my brother was nowhere to be found. I scuttled back in a mixture of disgust, alarm, and devastating sadness. "Jim!" I called as loud as I could, tears welling up in my eyes and the back of my throat. We had one set of gear. He couldn't have dived. He wouldn't have swam. He knows of sharks. So where was he? I paced to the port side and once again peered over. A pink, slimy tentacle inched up the side of the boat, growing thicker as it creeped up the hull. A second one joined it to the left, then the right. Its head-sized cups were lined in rotating teeth as sharp as blades and as large as my hand. Shadows crawled and surrounded me, slime and brine dripping onto my skin. A suction cup grasped my back, the teeth sinking into my flesh and releasing hot, stinging liquid into my tissue. I attempted to scream, but nothing moved. Paralyzing venom. I could only watch through fading vision, the gargantuan octopus I've heard so much about. And I could still only watch, as I neared its beak, and heard a crack as my bones broke under its strength. I woke up later that day, unable to move, only left to my senses. Luckily I was saved by a group from the Russian Vostok research station. For what felt like weeks, I was questioned and watched. My Russian wasn't very good, but you do pick up a little from time to time. I overheard talks of giant octopus named Organism 46b. The researchers had been studying this creature for many years, and have decided to use it to make weapons. My understanding, they plan to turn the venom into a gas. This could be the one of the worst chemical weapons to inflict pain on mankind. H.P. Lovecraft was right. There are horrors under the waves. Stay paranoid, my friends.